Welcome to the Road to Millions. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com. Two legends that are not being fired today, Steve. You and me. You and me. We're not going our separate ways. We're not being moved into different management positions. We're not looking at the new chapter in our lives. So we're back with you. So happy to be here with everybody on this Thursday. All right? Before we get into it, what's your feeling, Steve? Are you happy? Uh, I don't know. Sympathetic? I don't know. What's the emotions without Belichick now?
That's tough, man. I really just wanted to see him set the record here for, most wins as a head coach. He's 14 behind Shula. And I mean, at the rate, it used to be one season we could have gotten the job done with that, but at the rate they're going right now, it might have taken another like two
Three
or
or
three
four?
years. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I really wanted to see him set that record, and without it's with Brady leaving, Gronk leaving, all that turnover, but we'll see what happens in the future. I think potentially we could maybe see Vrabel come here. I think there's a potential for that maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the end of an era for sure. It does hurt. A lot of good memories with Belichick and Brady though.
It's strange. Even as a Colts fan, it's like, wait, what? We have an NFL where there's no Belichick at New England, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Well,
So
yeah, he'll go down as the greatest of all time, regardless. In my opinion, but also I just feel like it's the truth. He'll go down as the greatest of all time, and I think he'll end up probably going somewhere else and setting the record somewhere else. Unfortunately, I wanted to see him set that record before he left, but it's not in the cards.
it'll be weird if he does go somewhere else. Sets it like as a Falcons head coach. Something
Yeah,
just doesn't
right.
make any sense. So, all right, well, let's get into it. We got Team Total Thursday. We're gonna go over some NHL and NBA props. We got your sneaky play of the day and our stat of the day. And as always, we start off with some positive vibes from the audience. We got to get some more positive vibes here, guys. We got a bunch of likes and not a lot of comments. So leave us a comment, guys. Get us pumped up here. HVAC with Ice is glad to see you back, Steve. Catherine, been working all day. Just watched the show after the games had already started. Keep up the good work. We will keep up the good work. Thanks for the show. Absolutely rich. Tony gives a thumbs up. And then Drake Dimes, always dropping dimes with these world record nominees. He has a cricket one for us. And today, longest javelin throw. Drake
Oh.
wants us to break down the longest javelin throw. Drake always coming in hot. Appreciate you always. So, but yeah, leave us a like and give us a comment. Tell us what you like for this weekend, and tell us what's going on. So, let's just get started with Team Total Thursday here, Steve. I like the Buccaneers over 20.5 and the Chiefs under 25.5, and you're going with the Rams over 23.5 and the Dolphins under 19.5. I will give you the honors. So let's start talking about the Rams. Well, why do you like them over 23.5?
So this one's a little juicy at negative 150, but I think it's worth it to get it under 24 and a half. But at the same time, I wouldn't have a problem playing the 24 and a half. I think this sets up as a shootout. The Rams have scored 26 plus. They had scored 26 plus in six straight prior to the last game of the season against the 49ers, where they were playing backups anyway, so it was a meaningless game. They're going to be playing indoors against the Lions defense that has just been getting carved up by the pass, bottom five pass defense, allowing 247 plus per game. And Stafford has been outstanding since December. 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 67% completion percentage during those games. And those have been against strong pass defenses. He's gotten the job done against Cleveland, Baltimore, New Orleans. I mean, these guys even scored 31 in a loss to Baltimore. Granted, it was overtime, but I mean, they didn't score in overtime, so it really didn't make a difference. But indoors, this really just sets up as a shootout to me between both teams. I think the Rams get to 24 here pretty relatively easily, honestly.
Love it. Steve's going with the Rams over 23.5 as his favorite over. I'm going with the Buccaneers over 20.5. It's more of a fade of the Philadelphia Eagles, who this is not breaking news, have been terrible. But you dig inside the numbers, and it's worse than it looks. They've given up 27.5 points per game in their last 7 games. And Steve, that includes 2 games against the Giants, one against Seattle, and one against Arizona. Yikes. They have given up 145 yards rushing per game in the last three. And Steve, two of them against the Giants. This is not a defense that is playing very good. In fact, they're playing awful. And I know Tampa Bay's Buccaneers, their offense has not been very good. I think it's pretty clear Mayfield is playing hurt. The last two games, their offense has been terrible, but I could make the case those are against division rivals who had played them already this year, probably knew a little bit more of the schemes. So this is the first time that the Eagles are going to be seeing the Buccaneers, and there's just no way I can count on this Eagles team in defense to stop anybody. I know you did a great article for WagerTalk. You talked about anytime touchdown props. You had Mike Evans down as one of your favorite plays. I think he gets in the end zone here, and I think Rachaad White has a big game. It's playoff time. You know, Baker Mayfield's been playing hurt, but it's playoffs. You get just a little bit of extra effort and adrenaline here. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers at home over 20.5 as my favorite over here. Let's go to the under, and this is interesting. We both picked the teams in the same game to go under. I'm guessing the weather has a lot to do with this one, right?
Yeah, it looks like we're both looking at a low-scoring game here. I mean, the Dolphins, they've only scored 19 and 14 the last 2 weeks against the Bills and Ravens, and these were games, they needed to win. They couldn't crack 20. And the Chiefs have held 9 of their 17 opponents this season under this total. And in the last 5 games, the Chiefs defense hasn't allowed more than 20. They've allowed 20 twice, but I mean, 3 of their last 5 opponents have been held under, and just the other 2 just got over by the hook. This Dolphins offense is just loaded with injuries too. If you look up and down the card, who's playing, who's not, it's going to be tough to see who's going to be playing. It's just questionable tags across the board, and that just can't be good against a physical pass defense. And then they're going to be playing on the road, outdoors, Tua in the elements. And like you said, we have some weather approaching, cold, definitely going to be freezing over there. And I don't think the Dolphins are going to like that very much. Give me the under 19.5.
All right. I like the Chiefs under 25.5. I looked hard at the Dolphins, and then I was like, it's going to be cold for the Chiefs as well. So this under 25.5, this seems like a pretty ambitious number when this is on track to be the coldest NFL game in history, potentially. If it's not the coldest, it's going to be one of the coldest, and not a lot of talent in this receiving game, and that's in warm weather. So, if I'm just looking at wide receivers and position players in the passing game, it's advantage Dolphins. It's not advantage Chiefs. I mean, they got Travis Kelce, who just looks old and slow, and he's not going to get faster in sub-zero temperatures. And then Rice is by far their best receiver. That is not exactly a dynamic duo, in my opinion. And did you notice last week, Steve, when you watched the Dolphins game, did you notice they stopped running the ball in the second half? A-Chain was tearing them up. And
they did kind of get away from it. It's true.
All right, it's not a conspiracy, but I think the Dolphins and their head coach might be crazy enough that last week they were looking at that game and they were like, you know what? We need A-Chain next week. It's going to be freezing. Let's not run him into the ground. This is a guy that's averaging over 7 yards a carry. So who do they bring back? They're going to bring back Waddle, who's probably going to be hurt, but they're going to have Mostert and A-Chain. This is the number 1 rush offense this year, 5.1 yards per carry. And even though it's going to be freezing cold, it's going to be cold for the defense. I wonder if the Dolphins are just going to implement a run the play clock down to 3 seconds and run the ball 50 times at this Chiefs defense. Tua's arm, like you said, is not going to be great in this weather. And since the bye week, the 2 teams that Kansas City has gone over this total against were New England and then Cincinnati 2 weeks ago. Both of those teams, their seasons were done. Dolphins held Buffalo to 21, Dallas to 20. Baltimore scored 56 on them, but the Chiefs are not Baltimore. So I think this is a pretty ambitious number at 25.5. And it wouldn't surprise me if both teams are running the ball a lot. And with those play clocks just running off big chunks of time, I wonder if there's just limited possessions in this one. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs under 25.5. And Steve, this would not surprise me if the Dolphins go in there and win this game. I don't know anybody that's picking the Dolphins because of the weather, and I'm just looking at this Chiefs team going, I don't know, not exactly a dynamic running team in the elements. So I think it's going to be a really fun game, and it's going to be way closer than people think. So, all right, Buccaneers over 20.5, Chiefs under 25.5. Steve is going with the Rams over 23.5, and the Dolphins under 19.5. And I think it's more likely than not that we both hit our unders in the same game. Could
It's very possible. I mean, that I love that look on the Chiefs because it's the higher number as well, and that seems like an awful big number for them to get to in a game like this if it plays out the way we both expect it to.
Kicking field goals is going to be a nightmare. That football is going to be just a rock trying to kick
Yeah.
it. So, all right, what do we have up? Well, if you want to use the promo code Lang30, it gets $100 off a 30-day pass for all sports. We have a 5% NFL pack that is up, an NHL best bet that is up, and the Australian Open starts January 14th. So as soon as Saturday and Sunday are over, the Australian Open just kicks right in. So it's a great time to jump on board a 30-day pass, and that includes all plays, all percentages, including our 5% NFL play that is up. Steve, I know you got a 5% NFL best bet as well up at Sports Memo.
Yep, I have a 5% NFL play up at Sports Memo right now, and I'm excited about that one. This one, get back into the groove with the NFL. 37-24 on NFL best bets the last 2 seasons, so doing really well on those. And you guys can use the code SAVE15 if you wanted to get a 3-day pass. Save $15 off a 3-day all-access pass with the code SAVE15.
Love it. Let's get into our sneaky play of the day, stat of the day, and then we'll go over some more props. Sneaky play of the day, you're going to Spencer Dinwiddie. Forgot to change the picture there. Spencer Dinwiddie, he was an oldie but goodie for us in the playoffs. We were taking his overs, but you're like his under tonight. What do we like about Spencer Dinwiddie?
Yeah, it's his assist under in particular, and it's actually, I believe this is the 2 o'clock game in Paris. So if you guys want some afternoon action, you can get in on this one if you see the video in time. He's went under in 9 of his last 10 games, and the one game he went over, he only got to 7. It was against the Pistons, who allow the 4th most assists to his position. Now he's up against the Cavs, who allow the 4th least to his position. He's barely been getting there, even when he has gotten there over the last 10, 15 games. So look towards his under today on this pretty big assist number for him.
All right, taking a look at Spencer Dinwiddie under, and then our stat of the day, talking Buffalo Bills. Yikes.
Yeah, the Bills.
This is a crazy one, huh?
0-8 ATS in their last 8 games as a double-digit favorite, and that includes the postseason. 10-point favorites against the Steelers this weekend. I think it's a game they win, but I think covering 10, especially with such a low total, they're expecting it to be a low-scoring game. It always seems like a caution spot when you see a big total like that for a team to cover when the total is so low.
There's no chance I'm laying double digits with Josh Allen, he's played 17 games and he has 18 interceptions. I'm not laying 10 points with it. We had a 5% play involving the Bills last week. I watched that game and I about had 13 different heart attacks from that Bills team. Oh my God. Just brutal to watch. So I think my days of betting on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are over for this year. So, all right, let's go to the NBA and let's talk about some games here. Steve, what games would you like to talk about first?
Well, the first guy I wanted to look at was actually LeBron James for his rebounds plus assists for tonight. The number is set at 14.5. It's a number that he's cleared in 10 of his last 15 games overall, and during those 15 games, he's averaging 15.9 rebounds plus assists. He's really gotten the job done. The Suns actually do really well against his position. They don't allow a ton of assists and rebounds to his position, but he's already played them 3 times this season, 17, 17, and 19 in those 3 games. So he's crushed it in all 3 games against the Suns. And, it seems like a pretty low number for him tonight in a game that he should be motivated to play in.
They also do this thing where LeBron and KD never guard each other. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
So he doesn't even get a great defender on him. Not that KD's a great defender, but you know what I'm saying. I like that look there on LeBron. Any other games you wanted to go over?
Yeah, another guy I would look towards tonight is Chris Middleton on his PRA in a game actually against my Boston Celtics. He he's actually going over now that he's gotten his full minutes. He's went over in 8 of his last 9 games when he's played 31 plus minutes. If you look at it, really, whenever he's fallen short, it's been situations where he hasn't played a lot of minutes in a blowout or something like that. So he's generally playing the 33 plus minutes that he needs to clear this number and get the usage to get up and over this number. Celtics are coming off a tough game, a tough overtime game against Minnesota, and the spread being at 4.5, I feel like the Celtics defense might be a step slower tonight, and the spread being where it is, I don't think we see a blowout, so we should avoid the blowout, and he should get his minutes to get to this number.
Love it. Yeah, Middleton. Keep an eye on his minutes for sure. So, I mean, they have to get Middleton back in the swing of things. They don't stand a chance to come out of the East if they don't have Middleton like putting up good numbers and playing 30 plus minutes, right?
Yeah, they need that third guy with, obviously with Giannis and Dame, but they need that they need that third guy for the three-headed monster, and it's going to be Middleton if anyone, unless they make a trade or something.
Yeah, yeah. Any other plays in the NBA to keep our eye on tonight? Not a big slate.
Yeah, it's a small slate. I was going to mention maybe looking at Porzingis' points, but they pulled the number down. I'm assuming it's because some of the Celtics players will be sitting on the back-to-back after a tough game. So maybe look towards KP's points over, just based on the fact that he didn't play last night. A lot of the Celtics played big minutes, so I could see him getting a lot of shots tonight against the Bucks.
I'll also point out that I have not put this play in, and I don't know why. I'm just wasting money, but just playing just playing Jokic under his PRA, just night in and night out. Just don't even think about it. Set it and forget it. He's going under 2 out of 3 nights. Like it's just, it's just like you play it. You play it 3 games, you're gonna win 2 of them, and you're gonna come out ahead. I saw he didn't even come close a couple games ago. It didn't go over last night either. I don't know why I shy away from that one, but they put his number at 49.5 or 50.5, and the guy's settling at in the mid 40s. So.
Yeah, we talked about that one the other day, and then I really considered putting it in as well, and I didn't that night, and he ended up going over that night, but then I have seen he actually has went under for the majority of the time after, so it's a play that you could just ride and just deal with the bulk of the results.
I would make the case just when he goes over, then you go back. You really hammer him the next night. He doesn't do it 2 nights in a row. It's too much energy for him to get over 50 PRA, especially with Gordon and Porter and Jamal Murray. So,
Yeah.
oh, anyways, money left on the table. Let's take a look at some NHL plays. Big slate of NHL games. If you want to ride a guy that's been firing the puck a million times, it's Sam Reinhart, 9 in a row here. Problem is, he's going up against the Kings, third least amount of shots on goal, but guy kind of seems matchup proof at this point. I mean, he's gone over against the Rangers and the Knights twice and Colorado. He is just firing at will. So Reinhardt is one that's really gone over. Mitch Marner is going over as well, and he's got a great matchup against the Islanders. So he's a guy that's been going over quite a bit, and he gets the 31st defense for the Islanders. There was one. Let's see. Who was it that I was looking at?
The Islanders are definitely a team that you can feast on as far as shots on goal as well. I know they're bottom barrel in shots and goal allowed as well.
Yeah, this was the guy I was thinking about. Brendan Gallagher. You want a guy that you can just play night in and night out, man. 2.5 shots on goal, and it's only minus 120. 18 out of 22 games, he's gone under. Started off the year strong, and then so this is a guy that's not even getting close to going over. He had this little stretch here where he went over 3 games in a row, and then it's just nothing but unders. So you could look at him, and then I was going to bring up. So I'm on a 13-3 run in the NHL, just doing the points under, and my last loss was Braden Shen, and I normally tell people, hey, broke the streak, go right back to it. This was a really frustrating loss because he had a goal. This is when I told you about where he had a goal 3 minutes into the game, and they lost the game 5-1. So they just it was their only goal. It broke a big streak, and I was thinking about going back to him. And you look at these numbers, and on paper, Steve, this looks like a really good matchup. Like, oh, the Rangers, like ninth in goals, ninth in shots on goal. They've been getting torched recently. They've been giving up 6 and 5 and 6 in 3 out of their last 4 games. So the Rangers are in this little weird cold stretch, and they're just giving up a lot of goals. They will get back on track. They're too good, but I'm staying away from Braden Shen. We made a lot of profits off of him. I'm not going to come back to him tonight. Just all the signs point to him going under. It's a good price, but this Rangers team, man, gave up 11 goals in their last 2 games. So it's a time to just not get greedy and just kind of lay off. So I do have one NHL best bet that is up on WagerTalk, but it's not Braden Shen, and I'm not even putting it up as a free play. So gonna lay off of that one. So. All right. I don't think I have anything else. The only other thing I noticed in points is that they moved Cole Caulfield to 1.5 points. That's a big move. You know, Steve, you've been following hockey. They don't really put guys at 1.5, but they're playing San Jose. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that'll do it. It's only the superstars that get that. It's generally the superstars, like, I mean, Cofield's a good guy, but like, it's like usually the superstars get the 1.5 or they're playing, like San Jose or like maybe the Islanders, teams like that.
It's like you said, superstars or the San Jose Sharks. It's like, well, the Sharks take the good players and they make them look like superstars. Look, this is crazy. He's gone 3 games in a row without a point, and yet they're like, nope, playing the Sharks 1.5.
Wow.
That is what the San Jose Sharks have come back to. And then the other thing that I noticed, the Chicago Blackhawks. I want to pull them up because there's an interesting plus money play here tonight. So the Blackhawks going to be without Connor Bedard for 6 to 8 weeks. There's a lot of guys on Chicago that you could take to not have a point. Under 1.5 goals, team total for Chicago's plus money. They had a big game. They won 4-3 in the first game without Bedard, but then the next game they lost 2-1. I wonder if you could take this. This is the best defensive team they're playing tonight, Winnipeg. Winnipeg does not allow very many goals. I wonder if they get shut out tonight or if they just get 1 goal. I'm really, really thinking that under 1.5 for the Chicago team without Bedard might be worth it, especially when they get a tough matchup. Winnipeg's just been so good defensively. Their goaltending's been good, and without Bedard, this Blackhawks team has no star power whatsoever. So they got some decent players, but I think it's too much. So I was looking at that one. But you can see these Chicago guys, man. I mean, look at some of these prices. Minus 160, minus 210, minus 230 guys to not have a point. So those are some interesting ones to look at for the NHL tonight. So, all right, Steve. Anything else?
I could touch a couple of those touchdown props if you wanted. I mean, I wrote that article for the touchdown props. I mean, it's been Evans has been a guy that we've went to all year long. He's plus 100 this weekend, and he's like at home especially. He's like near auto bet. He scored in 11 of 17 games, but 6 of 8 at home. He scored against the Eagles early in the season. They allowed the second most touchdowns to opposing wide receivers, second most yards through the air. So I feel like that's a great look. And then Njoku at plus 160. I think there's some great value here. He's built a great rapport with Joe Flacco, scoring in 3 of the 5 games that they were on the field together. And Njoku had 6 touchdowns all season long. And if you look at it, 4 of them came with Flacco at quarterback. That includes a game against the Houston Texans, who he's playing this weekend. And the way to get through to the Texans is through the air. They've allowed the 23rd against the pass, allowing 234 plus yards per game, 6th against the run, allowing only 96 yards per game. And they have decent stats on the surface against opposing tight ends, but they haven't faced any solid tight ends outside. And Njoku might have been the best they faced outside of Kyle Pitts was the best tight end I could find other than him. They avoided Mark Andrews in week 1. So those stats are kind of deceiving as far as how the Texans play tight ends. I think he's the go-to guy for Flacco here in the red zone, and at plus 160, I think it's worth a look.
Love it. Yeah, Steve's articles are fantastic. You can find those at WagerTalk.com, or you just Google them. What other articles do you write this week, Steve?
All right, so I do anytime and first touchdown props weekly, and then I do NBA player props or college basketball player props on a daily basis. I have one or the other basically every day, and we were doing college football props before that, but now the season's over, obviously.
Love it, love it. Let's go lock in those plays. Let's have a great weekend. We got a couple 5% plays up. Steve's got one at Sports Memo. We've got one at WagerTalk.com. We're up 20 units in 2024 so far. So lock in those plays and give us a like, leave us a comment, and we will be back tomorrow for Bankroll Reset Day. It's going to be a really good Bankroll Reset Day, and then we get ready for the weekend. So good luck on all your plays. We'll see everyone tomorrow on the Road to Millions.
Good luck, guys.